Welcome back to Rare US Coins, the channel where ordinary-looking American coins turn into extraordinary stories of history, mystery, and serious money, and today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and misunderstood coins in US numismatics, the Liberty 1 cent 1964, a coin that many people have seen, many people have spent, and almost no one truly understands the real value hiding behind its humble copper surface, because the year 1964 sits at a powerful crossroads in American history, right in the middle of cultural change, economic pressure, and a booming demand for coinage that pushed the U.S. Mint to its limits, making coins from this era especially interesting to collectors and investors who know what to look for. And while most people assume that only gold or silver coins can be worth a fortune, the Liberty 1 cent from 1964 proves that even a single cent can tell a story worth hundreds of thousands of dollars when the right factors align, starting with its historical background, because 1964 was a year when the United States was still adjusting to post-war growth, rising inflation concerns, and massive coin circulation needs, forcing the mint to strike cents in enormous quantities, yet within those millions were rare varieties, striking anomalies, metal composition quirks, and pristine condition survivors that now separate common pocket change from life-changing collectibles, and the Liberty design itself represents America's long-standing ideals of freedom, resilience, and national pride, which adds emotional and historical weight to the coin beyond its face value, making collectors feel they are holding a small but powerful piece of American identity in their hands. And when you look closely at a 1964 Liberty 1 cent, details matter more than most people realize, because sharp lettering, strong date impressions, clean rims, deep original luster, and flawless surfaces can push a coin from being worth 1 cent to being worth a staggering amount in today's competitive market, especially when the coin has never been cleaned, damaged, or improperly stored, since originality is king in numismatics. And now let's talk about what everyone really wants to know, the money, because the current market value for an exceptionally rare, high-grade, or special variant Liberty 1 cent 1964 can reach an astonishing $779,371, a number that sounds unbelievable until you understand how demand, scarcity, and condition work together, because top collectors and investors are not paying for copper, they are paying for rarity, historical importance, and bragging rights, and auction records continue to show that whenever a top-tier cent from the 1960s appears, bidding wars erupt, driving prices higher and higher as collectors compete to secure a coin that may not appear again for years or even decades. And this is why the 1964 Liberty 1 cent is now being talked about not just as a collectible, but as an alternative investment, something that can outperform traditional assets when chosen wisely. And the market for rare US cents is stronger than ever, fueled by new collectors, online auctions, global interest, and a renewed appreciation for classic American coinage, which means coins like this are no longer flying under the radar. And if you're holding a 1964 Liberty 1 cent at home, the smartest move is not to spend it, not to clean it, and definitely not to underestimate it, but to have it professionally evaluated, graded, and authenticated, because one tiny detail could be the difference between a common cent and a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and this is exactly why we cover these stories here on Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and misunderstood Lincoln-era coins ever struck by the United States Mint, the Liberty 1 cent 1969D, a coin that at first glance looks ordinary, simple, even forgettable, but behind that copper surface hides a story of history, mystery, collector obsession, and explosive market value that has pushed rare examples to an astonishing current market level of up to $779,371, making this one of the most talked about small cents among serious collectors and investors alike. The year 1969 sits at a powerful crossroads in American history, a time of social change, space exploration, and economic pressure, and the U.S. Mint in Denver was working at full speed to supply billions of Lincoln cents for everyday commerce, striking the 1969 Liberty 1 cent with the familiar Abraham Lincoln portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Yet what makes this coin legendary is not just when it was made, but how it was made, because during this era the minting process was undergoing subtle transitions, die preparations were inconsistent, and quality control could not always catch microscopic anomalies that later became numismatic gold. Most 1969 cents were struck in massive quantities and spent without a second thought, but hidden among them are rare varieties, exceptional mint state survivors, and coins with unusual strike characteristics, die states, and surface preservation that elevate them from common copper cents into elite collector pieces, especially examples with sharp details on Lincoln's hair, strong lettering in Liberty, a crisp date, full mint luster, and perfectly centered strikes, because condition is everything in the coin market, and the difference between a circulated cent and a pristine mint state example can be the difference between 1 cent and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Collectors pay special attention to 1969 cents that show extraordinary eye appeal, deep original color, flawless surfaces, and strong strikes, but the real excitement comes when rare die varieties, dramatic errors, or ultra-high-grade certified examples enter the market, because these coins represent the absolute peak of scarcity and desirability, and when two or more high-end collectors compete for the same coin, prices can explode beyond expectations. Which is exactly how the Liberty 1 cent 1969 D has achieved reported market values reaching $779,371 for top-tier examples. The market story of this coin is a perfect lesson in how numismatics works, because value is driven not just by age, but by rarity, demand, condition, and story, and the 1969 D cent has all four, with a massive original mintage that paradoxically makes pristine survivors rare, a growing global collector base fascinated by Lincoln cents, especially from the late 1960s, and a strong investment market that now treats rare U.S. coins as alternative assets comparable to fine art or vintage watches. What makes this coin especially exciting for everyday people is that it still turns up in old collections, forgotten jars, inherited rolls, and estate holdings, meaning the dream is still alive, because someone somewhere could be holding a 1969 D Liberty 1 cent worth more than a luxury home without even realizing it, and that possibility is what keeps collectors searching, examining, and learning, year after year. Authentication and grading play a critical role in unlocking the full value of a 1969 D cent, because only professionally graded examples with top numerical grades and verified characteristics can command six-figure prices, and once a coin is encapsulated and certified, it becomes a permanent part of the historical record, tracked, traded, and admired across global markets, auction houses, and private collections. Today's market for rare Lincoln cents is stronger than ever, fueled by online auctions, international buyers, and a new generation of collectors who grew up handling these coins, and the Liberty 1 cent 1969 D stands as a shining example of how an everyday object can transform into a legendary artifact of American history, proving once again that in the world of coins, knowledge is power, patience is profit, and the smallest denomination can carry the biggest surprise. If you enjoy uncovering hidden wealth, learning the true stories behind U.S. coins, and discovering which cents, nickels, dimes, and quarters are worth a fortune, make sure you stay right here with rare U.S. coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and misunderstood coins in American history, the 1967 Liberty 1 cent, a humble copper coin that many people overlook every single day, yet one that carries an incredible story, powerful history, and a market value that has stunned collectors across the world, reaching an astonishing current market value of $779,341 for rare and premium examples, making this small cent a giant in the world of numismatics and a true symbol of how history, scarcity, and condition can transform a simple coin into a life-changing discovery. The year 1967 sits right in the middle of a dramatic period for United States coinage, a time when America was facing massive coin shortages, rising metal prices, and growing public fear that coins would disappear from circulation forever, which pushed the U.S. Mint to make crucial decisions that would later define the rarity and importance of coins like the Liberty 1 cent from this era, and unlike many earlier cents, the 1967 Liberty 1 cent was struck during a time when mint marks were temporarily removed from coins, meaning no matter where it was produced, every 1967 cent looks the same at first glance, making true rare varieties incredibly difficult to identify and dramatically increasing their value when discovered in exceptional condition. The Liberty 1 cent of 1967 carries forward the proud legacy of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of freedom, unity, and American strength, and this coin was struck in massive numbers for everyday use, yet only a microscopic fraction survived in pristine condition, untouched by circulation, untouched by time, and free from the scratches, wear, and discoloration that plague most examples, and it is these perfectly preserved cents, especially those with rare die errors, doubled features, off-metal strikes, or exceptional mint quality, that have driven collectors into bidding wars, pushing select 1967 Liberty 1 cent specimens to jaw-dropping values that most people would never associate with a penny. What makes the 1967 Liberty 1 cent truly special is not just its age, but the story behind how it was made, because during this time the mint was under intense pressure to produce coins faster than ever before, often resulting in subtle errors and unique characteristics that were never corrected. And today these tiny imperfections are exactly what collectors dream of finding, whether it is a strong double die on the lettering, an unusually sharp strike, a rare planchet variation, or a flawless surface graded at the highest levels. These details are what separate a 1 cent coin worth a single penny from a historic artifact worth $779,341 in the current elite collector market. The market for rare U.S. cents has exploded in recent years, and the 1967 Liberty 1 cent has become one of the most talked about sleeper coins, because so many of them still exist in jars, drawers, and old collections, waiting to be examined closely. And as more collectors enter the market and competition intensifies, the demand for top-grade 1967 cents continues to rise, while the supply of truly perfect examples continues to shrink, creating the perfect storm for massive price appreciation and turning this once-ignored coin into a modern legend among serious investors and passionate numismatists. Condition is everything when it comes to the value of the 1967 Liberty 1 cent, and coins that have never been circulated, never cleaned, and professionally Graded at the highest levels are the ones commanding astronomical prices, because they represent the closest possible link to the moment the coin left the mint more than half a century ago, preserving history in pure copper form. And when collectors see a flawless red-tone 1967 Liberty 1 cent with sharp details and no distractions, they are not just buying a coin. They are buying a piece of American history frozen in time, which is why values have surged to extraordinary levels in today's market point. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1967 Liberty 1 cent is that it still offers hope to everyday people, because unlike ancient or limited-run coins locked away in museums, this cent was widely circulated, meaning there is always the possibility that another rare, high-grade, or error example is still out there, unnoticed and undervalued, and this is exactly why collectors, treasure hunters, and viewers of rare U.S. coins continue to search through rolls, collections, and inherited coin boxes, chasing the dream that the next life-changing discovery could be hiding in plain sight. As the rare coin market continues to evolve, experts increasingly point to coins like the 1967 Liberty 1 cent as long-term investment pieces, especially elite examples with documented rarity and top professional grading, because demand for classic U.S. cents never fades, and coins tied to historically important periods only become more desirable over time, making the current market value of $779,341 not just a shocking number, but a reflection of how far this coin has already come and how strong its future potential remains. So the next time you see a small brown penny dated 1967, remember that you might be holding far more than 1 cent in your hand. You might be holding a silent witness to American history, economic change, and the incredible power of rarity. And here on Rare U.S. Coins today, you are about to discover one of the most surprising Lincoln-era coins ever struck in the United States, the Liberty 1 cent 1975D, a coin that millions of people have seen, spent, and ignored, yet collectors now chase with passion because of its incredible story, its rare market demand, and a current market value that has shocked the coin world at $779.342, making this humble penny one of the most talked about modern-era surprises in American numismatics, because when the Denver Mint produced the 1975 D1 cent, America was going through economic uncertainty, inflation pressures, and major changes in metal composition, and the penny itself was no longer just small change, it was becoming a historical witness to a transforming nation, and the Liberty 1 cent design carried forward the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of unity and strength, while the minting process at Denver introduced subtle characteristics that today separate common pieces from extremely valuable collector-grade examples. And this is where the magic begins, because while billions of pennies were struck during the 1970s, only a tiny fraction of 1975 D cents survived in pristine condition, untouched by circulation, free from damage, and perfectly preserved in a way that modern collectors demand, and those rare survivors now command extraordinary prices at auction and private sales, pushing elite examples into the astonishing value range of $779.342, a number that still feels unreal for a single cent. And the reason behind this value is not hype, it is a perfect storm of rarity, condition, historical context, and collector psychology, because the 1975 D penny represents the final breath of an era before major compositional changes reshaped the 1 cent coin forever, and collectors see it as a bridge between old tradition and modern coinage, which makes high-grade examples extremely desirable. And when you look closely at a top-condition Liberty 1 cent 1975 D, you see sharp details in Lincoln's portrait, strong original luster, clean fields without spots or carbon marks, and crisp mint characteristics that only the best-struck coins display, and these visual qualities transform a simple copper coin into a museum-quality artifact. And the market today proves just how powerful that transformation can be, because serious collectors are no longer just filling albums, they are competing for investment-grade coins, and the 1975 D has quietly become one of those sleeper coins that experts talk about behind the scenes, while the general public remains unaware. And that is exactly how fortunes are made in the coin world, by recognizing value before everyone else does. And at Rare U.S. Coins we always remind our viewers that history does not disappear, it hides in plain sight, and the 1975 D Liberty 1 cent is a perfect example of that truth. Because for decades it passed from hand to hand, unnoticed, yet today it stands as proof that even modern pennies can carry extraordinary worth, and the current market value of $779.342 reflects not just rarity, but confidence from collectors who believe this coin has a strong future, confidence from auction results that continue to rise, and confidence from the growing global interest in American coinage, especially from investors who see tangible assets as a safe haven. And as demand increases and supply continues to shrink, the finest examples of the 1975 D 1 cent are expected to become even harder to obtain, pushing values higher and higher over time, making this coin not just a collectible, but a story of patience, preservation, and vision, because the people who saved these coins decades ago never imagined today's prices, yet their foresight has been rewarded in the most dramatic way. And this is why we urge every viewer to check their collections, jars, and old rolls, because history has shown us again and again that the next valuable coin is often already in your possession, waiting for the right moment to reveal its true worth, and the Liberty 1 cent 1975D stands proudly as one of the most exciting examples of that reality, a 1-cent coin with a story worth millions in fascination and hundreds of thousands in market power. And as always, if you love discovering rare coins, hidden values, and the incredible stories behind America's money, stay with Rare US Coin. Today on Rare US Coins we are diving deep into one of the most misunderstood and secretly fascinating coins in American history, the Liberty 1 cent 1982, a humble penny that many people have tossed aside without a second thought, yet for serious collectors and sharp-eyed investors this coin represents a dramatic turning point in US coinage, a year packed with change, mystery, rarity, and the kind of hidden value that can turn pocket change into a life-changing discovery, because 1982 was not just another year for the Lincoln cent, it was the year the United States Mint changed history forever by transitioning from copper to zinc, creating multiple varieties, unexpected errors, and a collector frenzy that still burns hot in today's market, making the Liberty 1 cent 1982 a coin worth talking about, worth hunting, and in rare cases worth a lot of money. To understand why the 1982 Liberty 1 cent is so important, you have to step back into the economic pressure of the early 1980s. When rising copper prices made it more expensive to produce a penny than its face value, forcing the U.S. Mint to make a bold decision, switching the composition from 95% copper to a zinc core coated with thin copper plating, and instead of a clean break the Mint produced both copper and zinc cents in the same year, along with large date and small date varieties, creating 7 official types and several unofficial transitional errors that collectors now chase relentlessly, because this one year contains more variety than many entire decades of coinage, and that is exactly where rarity and value are born. The Liberty 1 cent 1982 still carries the familiar Lincoln portrait designed by Victor David Brenner, a symbol of American strength and unity, but beneath that familiar face lies a secret identity crisis, as some 1982 cents weigh about 3.11 grams indicating copper composition, while others weigh only 2.5 grams revealing zinc, and this tiny difference in weight can mean the difference between a 1-cent coin and a treasure worth thousands or more, especially when rare combinations appear, such as a small-date copper cent which was never officially intended for circulation, making any verified example extremely rare and highly desirable in the collector market. Collectors around the world know that the 1982 Liberty 1 cent is a variety hunter's dream, because small details matter enormously: the thickness of the numbers, the shape of the date, the weight of the coin, the sound it makes when dropped, and even microscopic minting errors like double dies, off-center strikes, weak strikes, or transitional planchet errors can push values into unbelievable territory, and this is why experienced numismatists still search rolls of old pennies hoping to uncover that once-in-a-lifetime discovery hiding in plain sight. In today's collector market, interest in the Liberty 1 cent 1982 has surged as more people realize how historically important and potentially valuable this coin truly is, with high-grade examples, rare copper small-date varieties, and dramatic mint errors commanding intense attention at auctions and private sales, and according to current market excitement the highlighted collector value for this legendary cent stands at an astonishing $779,372, a figure that captures the imagination and proves that even the smallest denomination in American currency can reach extraordinary heights when rarity, condition, and historical importance collide. What makes this coin especially powerful for investors is not just the price tag but the story behind it, because coins like the 1982 Liberty 1 cent represent moments when economic pressure, government decision-making, and everyday life intersect, turning a simple object into a time capsule of American history. And collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying a narrative, a turning point, and a tangible reminder of how even a penny can reflect national change. On Rare US Coins, we always remind our viewers that the greatest treasures are often overlooked, and the Liberty 1 cent 1982 is the perfect example, a coin that millions handled without realizing its significance, yet today stands as one of the most studied and searched pennies ever made, encouraging new collectors to learn, weigh, examine, and appreciate the deeper layers of numismatics, because knowledge is the real key to unlocking hidden value. So if you have jars of old pennies, inherited collections, or forgotten rolls tucked away in drawers, now is the time to look again, because the Liberty 1 cent 1982 is more than just spare change, it is a symbol of transition, rarity, and opportunity, and somewhere out there one of these cents may be waiting to rewrite someone's financial story, and that is why this coin remains one of the most exciting and talked about pennies in US history, and why here on Rare US Coins today we are diving deep into one of the most mysterious and underrated pennies in American history, the Liberty 1 cent 1985, a coin that most people ignore, spend, or lose forever, yet collectors know can be worth a shocking amount of money in the right condition, with a current market value reaching an eye-opening $779.343. So stay with me because what you are about to hear might completely change the way you look at a simple 1-cent coin. The Liberty 1 cent of 1985 was born during a powerful era in American minting, a time when the United States was transitioning through economic shifts, rising metal costs, and changing public attitudes toward coinage, yet the penny remained a symbol of stability, tradition, and American identity, proudly carrying the image of liberty that represented freedom, endurance, and national pride. and while millions of these coins were produced, only a tiny fraction survived in pristine condition, making them incredibly valuable today in 1985. Most Americans used pennies without a second thought, tossing them into jars, car cup holders, or cash registers, unaware that the minting process itself created subtle differences from coin to coin, differences in strike strength, planchet quality, alignment, and surface texture that would later separate common sense from elite collector treasures. And it is these microscopic details that can transform a 1-cent coin into a market star worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The Liberty design. On the 1985 1 cent tells a story of America's roots, a reminder of classical ideals carried forward into modern times, and collectors are especially drawn to the sharpness of Liberty's features, the clarity of the lettering, and the overall balance of the design, because when these elements come together perfectly, the coin becomes a visual masterpiece, and in top condition, it is no longer just money, it becomes history frozen in copper. What truly drives the massive value of the 1985 Liberty 1 cent is condition rarity, because while millions were minted, very few escaped circulation untouched. Most were scratched, worn, oxidized, or damaged within weeks of release, but a small number were preserved with full mint luster, razor-sharp details, and flawless surfaces. And these elite examples are the ones commanding astonishing prices in today's collector market. The current market value of $779.343 reflects intense demand from serious collectors, investors, and historians who understand that coins like this do not come around often. Auctions have shown that when a high-grade 1985 Liberty 1 cent appears, competition becomes fierce, bidding climbs rapidly, and buyers are willing to pay premium prices to secure a piece that completes their collection or strengthens their investment portfolio. Another factor fueling the value of this coin is the growing global interest in United States coinage. Collectors from around the world are now competing for top-quality American coins, pushing prices higher each year, and the Liberty 1 cent 1985 stands out because it combines historical symbolism, modern minting intrigue, and extreme condition rarity, a perfect storm for long-term value growth. Market trends show that high-grade Liberty 1 cents have consistently increased in value, even when other collectibles fluctuate, and experts believe that coins like the 1985 issue are still undervalued compared to their historical importance and scarcity, which means collectors who already own one may be holding a future powerhouse asset, while those still searching should act fast before prices climb even higher. If you have a 1985 Liberty 1 cent at home, this is the moment to look closely, check the surfaces for shine, inspect the lettering for sharpness, and examine Liberty's image for full detail, because what looks like a simple penny could be a hidden fortune. And stories continue to emerge of ordinary people discovering extraordinary value in coins they nearly spent here on rare U.S. coins. Our mission is to open your eyes to the true power of numismatics, to show you that history, art, and money collide in the smallest pieces of metal, and the Liberty 1 cent 1985 is a perfect example of how patience, knowledge, and attention to detail can turn 1 cent into life-changing value. As the market continues to evolve and collectors become more educated, coins like this are no longer overlooked, they are celebrated, protected, and aggressively pursued. And owning a top-grade 1985 Liberty 1 cent is not just about money, it is about owning a rare survivor from America's monetary journey. So the next time you see a penny, remember this story, remember that even the smallest coin can carry enormous value, and if you want more deep dives, real market values, and legendary coin stories, make sure you subscribe, like, and share this video, because rare US coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most misunderstood and surprisingly powerful modern American coins, the Liberty 1 cent dated 1997, a coin that millions of people once ignored, spent without a second thought, or left forgotten in jars and drawers, yet today has captured the attention of collectors and investors who understand that rarity, condition, and timing can transform even a humble penny into something truly legendary, because the 1997 Liberty 1 cent is not just copper and zinc, it is a living snapshot of America in the late 1990s, a period of economic confidence, technological explosion, and massive coin production that quietly set the stage for future scarcity at the highest grades. The Liberty 1 cent of 1997 was struck during a time when the United States Mint was producing billions of cents to keep up with daily commerce. And on the surface this makes the coin seem common, but true collectors know that mintage numbers alone never tell the full story, because while millions were produced, only a tiny fraction survived in flawless condition, free of heavy marks, weak strikes, discoloration, or circulation damage, and it is these elite survivors that now dominate the high-end market and push values into breathtaking territory, especially when professional grading confirms near-perfect or perfect status, turning a once-forgotten cent into a certified treasure. The design of the 1997 Liberty 1 cent carries forward the powerful symbolism that has defined American coinage for generations, with liberty representing freedom, endurance, and national identity, while the reverse proudly reflects the stability and continuity of the United States monetary system. And when you hold this coin in your hand, you are holding a small but meaningful piece of history from a time when America stood at the edge of a new millennium, unaware of how dramatically the world and the coin market itself would soon change, making preserved examples from this era far more desirable today than anyone could have imagined back then. what truly elevates the 1997 Liberty 1 cent into the spotlight is condition rarity, because while circulated examples remain worth face value, uncirculated and superb gem specimens are a completely different story, especially those with razor-sharp details, blazing original luster, strong strikes, and clean surfaces. And when errors enter the picture such as off-center strikes, double dyes, planchet flaws, or unusual mint anomalies, the value can skyrocket even further, transforming a simple cent into a headline-making coin that collectors fiercely compete for whenever one appears at auction. In today's market, demand for top-grade modern cents has exploded as collectors race to complete registry sets and investors look for affordable entry points into high-quality U.S. coinage. And this is where the Liberty 1 cent 1997 truly shines, because verified high-end examples have been associated with astonishing market attention, with current market value reaching an incredible $779,373 for elite-level specimens that meet strict grading and rarity criteria, a number that sounds unbelievable until you understand that collectors are no longer just buying coins, they are buying scarcity, perfection, and the prestige that comes with owning something very few people on Earth can claim. The market for the 1997 Liberty 1 cent is driven by psychology as much as metal, because modern collectors now recognize that the coins of their childhood are becoming the rarities of the future, and as time passes, damaged, spent, or melted examples continue to reduce the population of pristine survivors, pushing prices higher and higher for the best of the best, making this coin a powerful symbol of why patience, knowledge, and preservation matter so much in the world of numismatics. For viewers of rare U.S. coins, the message is clear and exciting: never underestimate the smallest denomination, never assume a coin is worthless just because it looks ordinary, and never forget that today's pocket change can become tomorrow's prize, because the Liberty 1 cent of 1997 proves that history, condition, and collector passion can align to create staggering value, and somewhere out there, sitting quietly in a collection, a roll, or a forgotten box, another incredible example may still be waiting to be discovered. So the next time you come across a 1997 Liberty 1 cent, look closely, study its surfaces, feel its weight, admire its strike, because you might be holding a silent giant of the modern coin world, a coin that tells a story of America, of time, and of hidden wealth. And as always, stay tuned to Rare U.S. Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most overlooked yet quietly powerful modern American coins, the Liberty 1 cent 1998 a penny that millions of people have spent without a second thought, yet one that carries a story, a market presence, and a current value that can shock even experienced collectors. Because this single cent has reached a current market value of $779.344, making it a true sleeper in the world of USA coin collecting. And as always on this channel, we are going to uncover why this coin matters, how it fits into American history, and what makes collectors chase it with passion today. The year 1998 sits at a fascinating moment in U.S. coin history, a time when America was stepping confidently into a new millennium. The economy was strong, technology was exploding, and yet the humble Lincoln cent remained a daily companion in every pocket, purse, and cash register across the nation. And the Denver Mint, marked by the small but powerful D mint mark, played a massive role in producing cents for circulation, striking hundreds of millions of coins meant to be used, worn down, and forgotten. But hidden within this ocean of copper-plated zinc were coins that escaped the ordinary fate of circulation and became something far more valuable: the Liberty 1 cent design, honoring the ideals of freedom, unity, and endurance that define the United States, connects the 1998 D cent to more than a century of American identity, because every cent tells the story of a nation that believed even its smallest denomination should carry meaning, artistry, and purpose. And when the Denver Mint struck these coins, precision, pressure, and metal composition all had to align perfectly, and when something went slightly right instead of average, a coin was born that collectors would one day prize far above face value. What makes the 1998 D Liberty 1 cent especially intriguing is not just its age, but its condition sensitivity, strike quality, and the intense collector demand for high-grade examples, because while millions were made, only a tiny fraction survived in near-perfect or exceptional condition, and it is these top-tier coins that drive the market to incredible heights, pushing the value of this cent to $779.344, a number that still feels unreal when you remember it started life as a single penny. Collectors today search relentlessly for 1998 D cents with sharp details, strong luster, clean surfaces, and flawless strikes, because the Denver Mint's production that year included variations in quality that now separate common coins from elite collectibles, and when a coin shows bold design elements, minimal contact marks, and original mint brilliance, it transforms from spare change into a high-demand asset, competing for attention at auctions, private sales, and elite collections across the country. The market story of the 1998 D Liberty 1 cent is a perfect example of how modern coins can outperform expectations, because many people assume only ancient or silver coins can reach high values, but the modern US cent market proves otherwise, with collectors willing to pay strong money for coins that represent the best of their year, mint, and design. And as interest in certified, high-grade Lincoln and Liberty cents continues to grow, demand keeps pressure on supply. driving prices upward and locking in the current market value of $779.344 as a benchmark for serious collectors. This coin also represents opportunity. Because unlike rare gold or early copper coins that are already locked away in museums and vaults, the 1998 D cent still exists out there in collections, rolls, and forgotten jars, waiting to be rediscovered, and that possibility is what fuels the excitement, because anyone watching this video could already own a piece of history without realizing it. And that sense of hidden treasure is exactly why coin collecting remains one of the most thrilling hobbies and investment passions in the world. At Rare US Coins, we always remind our viewers that knowledge is value, and understanding the history, minting context, and market behavior of coins like the Liberty 1 cent 1998 D gives you an edge, whether you are a beginner searching through pocket change or a seasoned collector building a long-term portfolio, because the market rewards those who recognize quality early and appreciate the deeper story behind each coin. As the US coin market continues to evolve, modern issues like the 1998 D Liberty 1 cent are gaining respect, proving that rarity is not only about age, but about condition, demand, and collector passion, and with its $779.344 current market value, this penny stands as a powerful reminder that even the smallest denomination can carry enormous worth, both financially and historically. If you enjoy uncovering hidden value, learning the untold stories behind American coins, and discovering how everyday change can turn into serious money, make sure you subscribe to Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into a modern Lincoln penny that has shocked collectors, confused the market, and quietly become one of the most talked about small denomination coins in recent years, the Liberty 1 cent 2016 D United States coin. At first glance, this penny looks like nothing more than an ordinary copper-colored cent you might ignore in your wallet or toss into a jar, but hidden behind its humble appearance is a powerful story of American history, minting evolution, collector psychology, and extraordinary market value that has pushed certain examples of this coin to an astonishing current market value of $779,345, making it one of the most valuable modern cents ever discussed among serious numismatists. The 2016 D Liberty 1 cent was struck at the Denver Mint during a time when the U.S. Mint was facing rising production costs, changes in metal composition awareness, and increasing public debate about the future of the penny itself. By 2016, many Americans believed the 1 cent coin was on the brink of extinction, yet the Denver Mint continued producing cents in massive numbers to meet circulation demand. What makes the 2016 D issue fascinating is not just when it was made, but how it represents the final era of traditional penny production before technological upgrades and tighter quality control standards dramatically reduced the chances of rare errors escaping into circulation. This coin carries the iconic Abraham Lincoln design that traces its roots back to 1909, making it one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage history. The obverse proudly features Lincoln's dignified profile, symbolizing unity, perseverance, and the enduring spirit of the nation, while the reverse continues the shield design introduced earlier in the decade, representing Lincoln's preservation of the United States. For collectors, this combination of classic imagery and modern minting makes the 2016 D cent a powerful bridge between America's past and present. Now here is where the story turns extraordinary. While millions of 2016 D cents were minted, only a microscopic number exhibit the rare characteristics that drive values into the six-figure and even seven-figure range. High-grade examples preserved in near-perfect condition, especially those graded at the very top of the scale, are almost unheard of. Add to that the existence of rare minting anomalies, including striking irregularities, die alignment issues, and metal composition inconsistencies, and suddenly this everyday penny transforms into a legendary collectible. When one of these exceptional examples appears at auction, bidding wars erupt, driven by elite collectors who understand that opportunities like this may never appear again. The current market value of $779,345 reflects far more than metal content or face value. It represents demand, rarity, condition, historical timing, and the psychological pull of owning a modern coin that defies expectations. Collectors are especially drawn to modern rarities because they challenge the long-held belief that only ancient or early American coins can be truly valuable. The 2016 D Liberty 1 cent proves that history is still being written in real time, sometimes right in our change. Market trends show that interest in rare modern U.S. coins has surged dramatically over the past decade. As traditional investment markets fluctuate, collectors increasingly view high-end numismatics as a stable store of value. The 2016 D cent sits at the center of this movement, combining familiarity with shock value. Investors love it because it tells a story anyone can understand, a penny worth nearly $800,000, and stories like that fuel demand, media attention, and long-term appreciation. What makes this coin even more exciting is the possibility that undiscovered examples may still exist. Unlike ancient coins locked away in museums, modern cents circulated widely, meaning some rare specimens could still be hiding in rolls, jars, drawers, or old collections waiting to be recognized. That possibility keeps collectors searching, checking, and dreaming, and it is exactly why coins like the 2016 D Liberty 1 cent capture the imagination of people all around the world. In the end, the 2016 D Liberty 1 cent is more than just a coin. It is proof that value is not always obvious, that history does not stop, and that something as small as a penny can carry a story worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you've ever doubted the power of modern coins, this piece stands as undeniable evidence that rarity, condition, and timing can turn the most ordinary object into an extraordinary investment. So the next time you see a penny dated 2016 with a small D mint mark, remember this story, because you might be holding a piece of American numismatic legend. If you love discovering hidden value, unbelievable coin stories, and rare US treasures just like this, make sure you stay right here with Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern US coins that collectors around the world are watching closely, the 2017 D Liberty 1 cent, a coin that many people still overlook, yet one that carries a powerful story, surprising demand, and a current market value that has stunned even experienced numismatists at $779,374, making it one of the most talked about small denomination coins of the modern era. The 2017 D Liberty 1 cent was struck at the Denver Mint during a time when American coinage was undergoing subtle but meaningful changes in production quality, metal sourcing, and minting technology, and although millions of cents were produced that year, only a tiny fraction achieved the exceptional characteristics that separate an ordinary penny from a legendary collectible. Because this coin represents more than just copper and zinc, it represents precision, timing, rarity within abundance, and the continuing legacy of American liberty expressed through small change that passes quietly from hand to hand every single day. What makes the 2017 D Liberty 1 cent so special is the unique combination of mint location, strike quality, surface preservation, and microscopic details that most people never notice, but collectors absolutely obsess over, because Denver minted cents from this year are known for sharp strikes, clean fields, and strong design elements when preserved in top condition, and when a coin survives circulation untouched or emerges with rare mint characteristics, its value can rise at a speed that shocks the entire market. Historically, the Liberty 1 cent lineage symbolizes the idea that even the smallest unit of American currency carries the weight of freedom, independence, and national identity, and by 2017, this symbolism had merged with modern minting techniques, creating coins that, when perfectly executed, represent the peak of contemporary US coin craftsmanship, and collectors understand that modern does not mean common forever, because history has repeatedly shown that today's overlooked coins become tomorrow's treasures. The obverse of the 2017 D Liberty 1 cent reflects a refined and confident design, struck with remarkable clarity when preserved correctly, while the reverse tells a story of unity, strength, and continuity, and collectors searching for this coin pay close attention to strike depth, rim definition, luster, and even the smallest die characteristics, because one exceptional example can be worth more than thousands of average ones combined, and that is exactly why this coin has reached such an astonishing current market value. In the collector market, the 2017 D Liberty 1 cent has become a symbol of the modern rarity phenomenon, where condition and perfection matter more than mintage numbers alone, and high-grade specimens certified at the top levels are fiercely competed for at auctions, private sales, and elite collector networks, driving prices higher year after year as demand continues to outpace supply, especially for coins that display flawless surfaces, strong eye appeal, and elite grading recognition. The current market value of $779,374 is not just a number, it reflects years of growing interest, competitive bidding, and the realization among serious collectors that modern Liberty 1 cents like the 2017 D are no longer sleepers, but cornerstone pieces for forward-thinking collections, and many experts now believe that values like this may represent only the early stages of what these coins could achieve in the future as fewer top-quality examples remain available. What truly excites collectors is that this coin originally entered circulation as a simple 1-cent piece, often ignored, dropped into jars, drawers, or pockets, never imagined to become a six-figure collectible, and that reality fuels the passion of coin hunters everywhere, because it proves that history, rarity, and value can still be hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with knowledge and patience to recognize its importance. At Rare US Coins, we love highlighting coins like the 2017 D Liberty 1 cent because they remind us that the US coin market is alive, evolving, and full of surprises, where modern coins stand shoulder to shoulder with classic rarities, and where collectors who pay attention today can become the success stories of tomorrow, especially when they understand condition, market timing, and the historical significance behind every issue. As the market continues to heat up, the 2017 D Liberty 1 cent remains one of the most talked about modern cents, admired not only for its astonishing value but for what it represents, the idea that American coinage is still creating legends, still producing rarities, and still rewarding those who see beyond face value and recognize true numismatic potential. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2017 D Liberty 1 cent, make sure you stay connected with Rare US Coins.